When you subtract rational numbers, you are using the same rules for signs as you used for integers. In this example, we've got negative 4 1/7 minus negative 6/7. Well, the first thing that I notice is I'm subtracting a negative, and so I'm right away going to make that into the same as adding a positive. The next thing I'm going to do is I have a mixed number, and I'm going to make that into an improper fraction. Remember, to do that, we multiply our denominator times the whole number to get how many sevenths are in that whole number. Well, 7 times 4 is 28. Then we add the 1/7, so 28 plus 1 is 29, so we have negative 29 sevenths. And since I changed that to adding a positive, I'm going to put just plus 6/7. And because we have that common denominator already, I'm just going to focus on integer operations with my numerators. Well, negative 29 plus 6 moves me closer to 0. So I am at negative 23 for that number. And then I'm going to make this answer into a mixed number again. So 7 will go into 23 3 times. So I have negative 3. 7 times 3 is 21. So 23 minus 21 is 2. So my remainder is 2, which I write as a fraction. So my answer would be negative 3 2/7. With this problem, subtracting a positive number is the same as if I were adding the negative. I tend to think of subtraction in terms of adding the opposite. And so then I can go back to when I'm doing addition, the answer is going to be the difference between these two numbers. So I take the absolute values, which means I'm ignoring the signs, and I'm going to take 21 6/10 minus 12 8/10. Notice that I lined up my decimal points so that I can line up my place values, and then I just do subtraction. So I'm going to get 8 6/10. Now, because the 21 6/10 is the bigger number, my answer will be negative. So this should be my solution. With this problem, again, I like to think in terms of addition. Well, this is going to be the same as negative 8 4/10 plus a negative 6 7/10. Because subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. Now, because both of those numbers are negative, I can just add the values and then make it negative. So 8 4/10 and 6 7/10. Again, I line up my decimal points. So I line up my place values. And this is going to give me 15 1/10. So my answer, because those are both negatives, is going to be a negative 15 1/10. In this example, I'm going to do just like what we did with the other one previous to this, because we've got a negative number subtracting a positive. I'm going to make this into the idea that I am adding the opposite. So I'm adding a negative 2 1/3. Then, because I have two negatives, I can now just add the values. So 2 2/3 plus 2 1/3. Well, 2 plus 2 is 4. And then I've got common denominators, so I can focus on just adding my numerators. Well, that's going to give me 3/3, which 3/3 is 1. So 4 plus 1, my answer will be 5. Now, because the values are both negative, it's actually going to be a -5 for my solution.